Oop, y'all caught me picking my eye. Hey, friends, welcome, welcome. Sorry I'm late, y'all. My kids would have a sibling little rivalry right before it's time for me to talk to my friends. What's going on, y'all? Hey, Gerald, Deidre, Brittany, Angela. Hey, how's everybody doing? Let me get my little screen situated. Kids find the right time to get your blood running, don't they? All right, they're good and situated now. I hope y'all are. Did anybody have any good plans or anybody do anything good for Cinco de Mayo yesterday? Anybody in recovery? I was a little staggered. One of my sister's colleagues' niece's birthday was on Cinco de Mayo, so we actually had steak and chicken and shrimp tacos, pico de gallo, and all that good stuff. Smelled lime because I had smashed some down real quickly before I got on here with you all. Hope all is well, y'all. So I wanted to go live. I told y'all when we were live, when I dropped the Delaware, that we would come live today, 8 o'clock, a little late, but not denied. Um, and I wanted to, just like get to know everybody. If y'all wanted tacos and tequila, I know that's right, Deidre. Tacos and tequila is faithfully in my household on Tuesdays, honey. Tequila's always welcome. Tacos will definitely be in attendance on Tuesdays, though. Yes. Wanted to jump back on here. I had fun when I went live the first time. So I'm like, we got to start doing it more. It's time for me to, come from behind the mic and get in front of the camera. But I wanted to come on because in Delaware's case, we discussed a very tragic, sad case, the death of Emma Grace Cole and her mom, Kristie Haas. I saw in the comments when we were live and afterwards, some people were thinking Brandon was Emma's dad, a biological dad. And so I just wanted to come on and share some information that I had got from the Herald Times. It was an article, a three-part article actually, that kind of dove deeper into the custody and the situations before and after and during, I should say, Emma was pronounced deceased, and they determined that that was her. That was found in 2019. So, yep, I was just going to wait and see if anybody come in, because if you saw Delaware, cool, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, maybe you can, look at it backwards. Look at this one and then go back and check that Delaware video out, because I'm not going to replay that one, but I am going to just give some points here. I made a little presentation because Tiana, um, Anna B definitely has a tendency to just start rambling, right? Yes. So I made me some notes and I made us a little presentation. I hope everybody is ready to get this information. Let's see here. All right. Sad. So just a refresher. This is the cute, sweet little Emma Grace Cole. She was found September 2019 in Little Lass baseball fields in Smyrna, Delaware. So this week in Smyrna that they found Emma, it was like hot. All the articles discussed that it was really hot this week in Delaware, and finally on this day, the temperature got nicer. So a resident was out walking and stumbled across like a burnt tree. And of course, if you nosy like me, I'm probably going to go investigate, which they did. And I do have a little area just to put a little visual on it. This is not the exact area, but this is just a location near where little Emma was found. An area view. Looks like it was probably somewhere over in here that that previous picture was. But they found a burnt tree and then discovered that it looked like human remains. So you know that it did not take much time for the police to get over there to figure out what was going on. Let me make sure I have my chat up. You ready, TJ? I know that's right, girl. I'm ready too. Cheers. So, yep, this is Little Last softball field, and police swarmed in. Now, they didn't have much information. Again, it was very hot, so with the fact that she was burnt in those temperatures, it wasn't much that
In
they could
September
find.
of 2019, the Smyrna Police Department made a stunning and quite disturbing discovery. A very young child's remains, burned, were found at a softball field not far from where we are today.
Not far from where they were.
This has been one of the most heartbreaking investigations I have ever experienced, and I am sure that is true for all of law enforcement who is with me today.
They had all the people out looking for baby Emma, trying to figure out who this baby was, who she belonged to. And look at that picture. Now, that picture, like literally by the end of the day, well, this picture was obviously they didn't have it by the end of the day, but by the end of the day that she was found, right? All they knew that she was a little girl, it was a child, and they, sent her little remains out. She mentioned, the attorney general mentioned that they were actually having that press conference not too far where baby Emma was found. But guess what else was close to by where baby Emma was found? This was the home baby Emma was moved to from Indiana, to this home that was just a mile, if that, from that Little Last softball field where she was living with her mom and her stepdad, Brandon. Now, the only leads, after they were waiting on the autopsy and everything, the only leads that they had was surveillance video. There was a middle school across from the Little Last softball field, or is a middle school, I'm not sure if it's still there, that had surveillance video. They captured a vehicle, was a mid-sized sedan, that entered the softball field early in September. They didn't release the exact day, but it was early in September. The car was seen entering at 12:15 a.m. Nobody's playing softball at 12:15 a.m. But they saw a small statue, small frame individual, adult individual. Now, if that individual's actions were caught on that surveillance camera, I'm not sure, because that was not included in any of the articles that I read, and more specifically the article from the Herald Times by Isabel Hughs. Let me give her props too, because it looks like she spent some real time with this family, after Emma's passing and probably before. But yep, this is where she lived. This is where she lived with Brandon, her stepdad, and her mom and her siblings. Now, this is James and this is Kelsey. This is Kristie's sister and father. Now, we're going to fast forward from them finding Emma in 2019 to 2020. He lived in Western Kentucky. Kelsey lived in Indianapolis. He was married to the girls' mom, but they divorced when they were both still very young. They did not have the best relationship, and the article shared that sometimes the girls were caught in the middle of mom and dad's, disputes or whatnot. But granddaddy, as any parent does, he tried to keep in contact with Kristie for the sake of his four grandchildren, especially knowing that Kristie had battled with addiction since a young teen. She was a teenager. I'm not sure what specific age, but it did mention that she had battled since teenage years. Now, he hadn't seen Kristie for a year. This is 2020. He hadn't seen Kristie for a year, and he hadn't seen his grandbaby Emma since she was born in January of 2016. This ain't really surprised him. He was concerned, but he wasn't surprised. It wasn't his concerns didn't turn into worry and panicking until Kelsey, his daughter, told him that she had a strange conversation with both her mom and Kristie. It was definitely strange, I would say. So she told him that she found out that Emma was no longer living with Kristie and Brandon in Delaware. This is Kristie and Brandon. I'm gonna keep that on them. She found out that Emma was no longer living with her mom, Kristie. She was supposed to be living with a friend, maybe. Her mom told her one story. Kristie actually told her that Emma had been diagnosed with schizophrenia. Schizophrenia. Remind you, this baby was 3, and that she was at a children's hospital in Philadelphia. So me, I'm like, schizophrenia at 2, 3 years old. I just don't, that early, really? I have never seen any cases of small kids with schizophrenia. I thought that was more so. And then you have to take these heavy drugs. So that kind of struck me. And look at that baby, schizophrenia. That baby looked like all she want to do is play. Like schizophrenia, that questioned me, and of course that was strange as well to her parents. So of course, what I do, I went to Google and I was like, what's the youngest age that somebody can be or has been documented with schizophrenia? And this is what I found. The youngest documented case of schizophrenia was reported in a 6-year-old boy. The boy exhibited symptoms such as hallucinations, delusions, and disorganized thinking. His condition was diagnosed as childhood onset schizophrenia, a rare form of the disorder that can manifest in early childhood. Okay. It's important to note, though, schizophrenia typically presents in late adolescence or early adulthood. Childhood onset schizophrenia is extremely rare, affecting less than 1% of children under the age of 13. Emma was 10 years younger than that. 10 years younger than that. So now granddaddy James is he's worried. He's worried, and he starts to search. He going to look. Now I want to know. This is strange. This is weird. So he started looking at, excuse me, y'all. Anybody sipping? Granddaddy James started to look online, and he chose to look through funeral homes in the 3 towns that he knew of his grandkids living in: Newcastle, Middletown, and Smyrna. And he didn't see his baby girl in the funeral home. So then he goes and he searches in those 3 towns again for missing persons. He goes and searches for missing persons, and he stumbles across this image sketch of Emma that was completed by the forensic investigators. And he said he pretty much knew. Like for me, my family, like when he said that it was the lips, the thin lips, and he just knew when he looked at this baby. That's like, when your family, your kids come out with big ears or something, their daddy got big ears. My family, all of us, we call them raccoon eyes. We all have our raccoon eyes, and I can just only imagine how he felt looking at this picture, especially if it resembles, the children that he created, his daughters, her mom. So granddad James is literally looked at this picture, used his phone on his computer, takes a picture of it, sends it to his wife, who's just, feet away on a couch. And he's looking at her as she opens her phone, sees her, goes closer and looks at the phone. And she's turning around. She's like, "Are you kidding me? Do you think that's Emma?" Granddaddy James, he said, "Absolutely." He said he knew that was his grandbaby, and he knew that his daughter had something to do with it, something to do with what was going on. He hoped for the best, but he just knew.
I went to Smyrna looking up missing persons. It went to the Smyrna Police Department. And then the first thing it clicked on missing person, this picture came up of this little girl. And as soon as I saw the picture, I knew who it was.
That's crazy. That is a hell of a sketch. Mind you, they only had the anthropologist's report. This baby was severely, badly decomposed and burnt. Um, had set out in the hot Smyrna, Delaware heat. And they did a very amazing job at sketching. That is some talent. That is some true talent. Now, I want to give some background information because Granddaddy James did not just start getting worried when he had that conversation with Kelsey. His worries came, one, when Kristie moved from Indiana to Delaware in 2017 with Brandon, a man that she had just met months before. They both were recovering addicts. He was only a couple months ahead in his sobriety or his recovery process than Kristie was. So she ups and moves from Indiana, where all her family resides. Her children are there. Her mom's there. This dad that loves her and cares about her, been trying to contact her. She moves to Delaware. She has no connections but Brandy. And then his worries, deepened when she started trying to regain custody of her children. She has four children. She has four children, or had four children at the time. All of them, obviously, if you look at the picture, all of them are under the age of 10. Now, the three oldest, this is baby Emma right here. The three oldest share a father, and they were living with their dad and their stepmom in Indiana as well. She had given custody over in 2016, right before she went to rehab for the first time. Okay, for the first time. But look at Emma. I'm sorry, I don't want to get off track, but this this don't look like food. That looks like a little bruise or something to me on her face. That's all I could see is look at that little bruise, but she's just smiling. Look how she's looking at her brother. Look at him again, a little younger. You can tell that's Emma just based off of she even matches the description that they released to the T. Like she had the little they saw her hair, so she had the little nice little curly hair. That is so sad. Now this is Tanya. That's Emma, and that's Tanya, now ex-husband. This is who was caring for Emma, and this is who Emma lived with all her life. This was pretty much, in my opinion, and I believe theirs too, this was Emma's mama and daddy. She literally was with them from the time that she was born. Even when, okay, wait a minute. The connection is that Emma's biological dad is Joshua, which is her nephew, okay? When Joshua told um Tanya that she had he had a girl pregnant, excuse me, y'all, that he had a girl pregnant, he had a girl pregnant, she found Kristie. She didn't know Kristie from a can of paint. She found Kristie, she took her under her wing, and she became like a big sister to her during Kristie's pregnancy with Emma. And Joshua didn't believe Kristie that she was pregnant. He didn't really, be a part of Kristie's pregnancy or anything like that. It wasn't until um, later on when they went to court and his paternity was proven, court ordered proven. And so while Kristie got back into the depths of her addiction, she gave the baby voluntarily over to Tanya. And she spent her days, this is Joshua and Emma. She spent her first days with Tanya. They would go back and forth before she fully got custody, but she was home with Tanya. Tanya's children were her siblings. Now let's go back to Daddy James, because when he found that sketch of Emma, he also had the detective's contact information, which by this time, when he found the sketch, he couldn't call. It was too late. So he called into the tip line the next morning, and within an hour, a Detective Davis, called out to James. He told Detective James everything that he knew, everything that transpired. He did his own research. And of course, the detective has more questions like, does anybody talk to Kristie? Does anybody know where Kristie stand? Et cetera, et cetera. The depths of the conversation regarding Emma being schizophrenic and things like that. So after Granddaddy James speaks with the detective, he hangs up, he calls Kelsey. Kelsey, definitely more than willing to talk to the detective, but before she does, her dad tells her to get your computer and search Smyrna missing child. She did, and the first result is that same sketch from the forensic investigators of Emma. And her reaction was very similar to Granddaddy James. She knew. She said it looked like her and Kristie as kids. She was devastated. And as soon as she hung up from that phone, she called Detective Davis and answered all his questions and told him everything she wanted to know. He wanted to know. Now, she was upset. After she got this information, she's ready to confront her mom. Obviously, she couldn't confront Kristie because Kristie ass on the run. She going from pillar to post, phone number to phone number, state to state. Can't nobody keep up with her by this time. So Kelsey confronted her mom, who told her that Kristie, her mom here, told her that Kristie was having trouble with Emma. Emma and Kristie were not getting along. I know our kids, sometimes we're not having a good day, just stay out my way, go into your room, get out my way now. But not getting along with a 2 or 3 year, you don't have no choice but to get along. They like solely dependent on you. Anyhow, Kristie was supposed to be having trouble with Emma. They weren't getting along, and she might be staying with a friend. What friend does Kristie have in Delaware when all her family and her friends are in Indiana? It would be the first thing that, as a mama, I'm going to say about my grandbaby. But evidently, this mama didn't do that, because she even told her that Belinda, here, the mom, went to visit Kristie and her children Thanksgiving of 2019, and she didn't see Emma. So why didn't the questions and why didn't the investigation and the searching start there? Even if you didn't get along with your ex-husband, which is your daughter's dad, I would have been on the phone like, yo, listen, I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what my grandbaby is, such and such, but she didn't do that. Kelsey confronts her mom at her mom's house. Tells her mom, look, this is what I know. I didn't talk to the police. And she shows her the same sketch that she saw that looks like her. Belinda turns away. She don't want to see it. She then storms out, and she has cut off all communication with her daughter, Kelsey. Why? Now, this article is from February 2022. I don't want to speak on present time or what's going on, but at the time of this article, where this information has been retrieved from by your girl, the mom had not spoken to Kelsey. Kelsey hadn't spoke to her mom, and this just don't affect them. Like, she even said that her other children, Kelsey's children, don't have a relationship with her grandma. Like, why are you protecting her? Where did she think her granddaughter was? I don't know what would make I can't think. I can't even grasp to think what she was thinking. Maybe she thought she lived with a friend, but again, that's another question. What friend did she live with, and why we can't go see her? It's Thanksgiving. Can she come over here for Thanksgiving? No. But anyhow, I hate to see mom and a family in beef or whatnot, but hey, things happen for a reason. So, but yeah, less than 2 weeks after Granddaddy James called down to Smyrna, the FBI started to surveillance these two. They found out that the FBI found out that they were living in PA, Glen Mills, PA, at a Comfort Inn and Suites. The first sighting of them was with Kristie and her son. Before they left, they threw out a bag of trash into a dumpster at the hotel. And soon as they left, the police got their trash. They retrieved some evidence and they shipped it off to Delaware's medical examiner. Now, then they seen Mr. Brandon. This is Kristie's son. They seen Brandon leave the next day in a Chevy Malibu. They said that this Chevy Malibu fits and matches the vehicle that they seen at leaving and entering Little Last softball fields in September of 2019, right? And then 4 days after that, they saw Kristie leaving with only 3 children. She has 4. Again, no sightings of Emma. So Emma hasn't been seen since, reportedly, the last person that was around to see was mom Belinda, grandma. So she ain't been seen since Thanksgiving of 2019 all the way up until now, where the FBI now is surveillancing them. That's crazy. So that same day that they saw her leaving with only 3 of her 4 children, the detective got a call from the medical examiner's office, and they had matched DNA from baby Emma's rib to DNA pulled off of a straw in that trash that Kristie threw away, and it matched. And the odds that Kristie did not birth this baby that was found burnt, decomposed was 1 in 14 million. And Detective Davis called Granddaddy James and relayed the sad information that, yes, your granddaughter is no longer alive. And Granddaddy James had to break the news to Kelsey, who, again, was very devastated. Baby Emma, poor baby Emma. And can't even imagine the things that she went through. Now, afterwards, if you saw the video, we know now that once she regained custody of these kids, they were like over exercising them. Like, she was stuck to a diet of just oatmeal, and it was just horrible. And baby Emma, the youngest of them all, reportedly got the worst of them all. None of them deserved any of it. I ain't saying it like that, but she got the worst of it all. And I just can't help but think something really evil about you wanting to be so mean to the youngest, most defenseless of them all. And this baby was good where she was at. Wonder if Brandon was in her head, like, you should get your kids, and they thought they were going to be clean and be this new family together, and maybe he was in her ear. I don't know. I don't know. That baby should have stayed right where she was at.
When he told me that it was Emma, I pulled over and I think I sat at a Walmart parking lot for about an hour and a half and cried. All I knew at that moment was that Emma wasn't
She
with
said,
us anymore, and
oh my goodness.
that she had been dead for about a year.
And just over a year after Emma's remains were found, they arrested 2 suspects, Kristie and Brandon Haas, the 2 people responsible for Emma's welfare and safety. And that brings us to today. Yesterday, Kristie Haas's charges were upgraded to murder by abuse and neglect.
Is in prison. Again, this is from a 2020 Herald Times 3-part article written by Isabel Hughs. It says in prison in Delaware, and Brandon has posted bail. Obviously, we know the outcome. They ass locked up. And y'all, I am so sorry. I told y'all I'm blabber. I blabber. I don't know why my stroll panel to the chat wasn't moving, but I didn't see all of y'all comments. I'm sorry. Hey, Motley Mama. Hey, Boo, you finally made it. Bam, bam. Hey, Lisa, what's going on? Dabs Bunny, Terry Peters, love right back to you. Big Blue, what's going on? How y'all doing? Happy Tuesday. Ain't it crazy? Cinco de Mayo was on Monday and today's Taco Tuesday. Every time I say Tuesday, I want to say Taco Tuesday. Yes, what's up? I appreciate the love, y'all. So, shortly after all the surveillance and everything, we know these two were arrested. They were actually arrested separately, and when they were arrested, they only released like people of interest, persons of interest in Emma's death. Um but so they didn't release their names. It wasn't until October 8th that they announced Kristie Haas, Brandon Haas, the mom and stepfather. This is the stepfather. This is the mom. That is not the biological father. I definitely try to put as much research in as possible. One, because I don't want to be telling no lies. And, well, the thing about it is I like to get my stuff from like the court records because every story has somebody else experienced one thing. Some people don't tell the truth. So I like to look at it like this. When I get my information, if the person that's in it ain't spoken, had no words, and they didn't went to trial, I use that information. And I'm not saying it's true, but obviously it was true enough for 12 people in your community, of your community, to convict you, or three judges, or however the case may go. So I definitely appreciate that acknowledgement, and hopefully it's presented as I put time and definitely some love into all this, because none of this is easy to talk about. Literally, I'd be like, oh, hell no, I got to walk away or give me a shot, because some of the things that you come across, and I don't even really like doing kids cases. I really don't. But the crazy about it is the moms be the women be killing their kids or their husband, or what else, they romantic rival, right? So kind of stuck with some of these sad stories and cases, but I definitely like to get all the information, as much accuracy as possible. And I'm not perfect, so might get a date, might get a pronunciation wrong, but your girl definitely puts in that work and dedication to get it right the first time. But yeah, these two were arrested. They were arrested in Pennsylvania. Obviously, they were being staked out at the hotel. And they still had their house. Like, why y'all in Pennsylvania living at a hotel and y'all got a whole house? But anyhow, and Brandon, he had the opportunity. The issue was with me with Brandon, like you said, around all this time, you watched her. Even if you didn't, that's up in the air, because this man only got 4 years, right? He only got one more year in prison than Emma was able to live. And look at his age and how much life she could have lived, and you only got 4 years. I don't care if he didn't. The fact that he won, sat there, sat back, like, and watched it. He swore he was working, but where you work? You drive a truck. Your Facebook profile said he was like a journeyman or something like that. I forgot. I ain't even look really into his page, but where you working that you just can't see? You can't see these kids get mistreated. That picture that I just showed y'all, I know for a fact there's probably not no food on her face. That looks like that is a bruise. Looks like that's a bruise on that baby face. But anyhow, they were arrested. Eventually, they were extradited. These were the initial charges that both of them faced. We do know that Kristie was indicted for additional charge of murder, as she should. Not sure why. Maybe it's the state. I didn't go too much into depth with that, but I know for a fact, like Florida, probably North Carolina, a lot of states, he would have been just as responsible and probably eating the same charges that she got. But the thing is, I don't know if she wasn't talking or what. They was real hush mouth on the logistics and the background, but he had literally been offered a deal. He was offered a deal February of the year that they were supposed to go to trial, which was 2023. If my mind serves me right, I don't have that in front of me right now, but he was supposed to go they were supposed to go to trial, but he quietly was offered a plea deal by the state to testify against Kristie. They kept it on the low because Kristie sent him a letter. Mind you, he got out. Kristie sent him a letter, swear she was gonna kill herself in jail. Excuse me, maybe it's this. Yeah, I know I'm new to live. I don't know if I should say that or not, but she wanted to take her own life. And they were just pretty much scared that if, the plea deal had gotten out, that would mess up, his opportunity to testify against him. But she obviously ended up not to go, turned up, not go to trial. That was a tongue twister for some reason. She didn't go to trial. She took a plea, copped out. But who wants to sit through a trial and look at all those pictures and everything when the obvious is said? You should have taken responsibility, and you should have. But anyhow, this one, I don't know how I feel about that. 4 years, what y'all thinking on that? Do y'all think when they offer people plea deals just to get more information, is that a give some, lose some? You give me a little, I give you a little? That just doesn't seem fair to me because he ran with her. Like, he ran with her a whole year. He ran with her. You're just as responsible, bruh. So Tanya, now a little bit about Tanya, how she found out. Her niece sent her a text message and was like, "Is this Josh's daughter?" Along with that question, and in that message, it was a link to an article that had the baby sketch, the sketch of Emma. And they did just a fantastic job because that does look like Emma, in my opinion. And again, like I told y'all, Tanya didn't even know Kristie. She the one who took Kristie under her wing. You can't judge a book by its cover. Yes, she pierced out or whatnot, but that baby was obviously loved and they loved her. And Joshua Douthit, that's his name. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Joshua is the biological father. He had a little, he was in and out of jail. He was a little upset, or excuse me, Tanya was a little upset at the fact that he wasn't present and he wasn't assisting as the biological parent to Emma to help get custody once everything, went down. So he was sworn onto court. He didn't believe Kristie was pregnant from the get-go. He didn't want anything to do with her until the court ordered him to pay child support and proved by way of paternity test that he was Emma's dad. This is a picture from his Facebook page where he had a caption that, "This is my daughter. Her name is Emma. I love her so much." This is when Emma was 6 months old, or I believe around that time when she was 6 months old. So the same year that Joshua found out that he was Emma's biological dad is the same year that he tried to petition to get custody. And obviously it was through, the pushing of Tanya. So he stuck around for that court proceedings, and Tanya was granted guardianship of Emma. Okay. Now, fast forward, by this time, she doing good. They look like they the happy couple, I guess. Look like they the happy couple. She didn't regain her daughter, or excuse me, she regained custody of her youngest daughter. But that was only after she filed a petition in 2017, right? She filed a petition in 2017 with the help of her mom. This is her mom, and guess what her mom does for a living? She's a lawyer. I Googled her. I don't want her trying to put no lawsuit against me. But I Googled her, and I'll have all these links to every part of the article in case y'all want to go do. I'm not going to put nothing out there like that, except the fact that she was a lawyer, and her law firm, her law firm represented Kristie in all of her petitions. Her guardianship for her other three kids were their dad. This case between her and Joshua for child support, and then the case between Tanya and her for guardianship of Emma. The mama was a lawyer, and I don't know. I just don't like the fact of that. But by the time the hearing was held, Kristie was only clean for like 9 months. She was living in Delaware. She was working for a catering company, and she was now married. That home I showed y'all was a 3-bedroom home. They see they had the nice yard, backyard, front yard. And she was able to present this image that she was ready to be a mama. The Facebook page, now she had like 3, 4 Facebook pages. She deleted the Facebook page, or I don't know if she deleted it. It's deleted now. That really held all of this information. So if it wasn't for Isabel Hughs with the Herald Times, shout out to you. I wouldn't have this. You wouldn't be able to see any of this, because the only other Facebook pages is like, updatings of profile pictures or whatnot. Now, after, oops, hold on, I went too fast. So, long story short, mom attorney, big attorney. I mean, she got pulled probably, but she definitely has a good reputation in that area. But mom's law firm represented Kristie. Her mom even testified on behalf of Kristie, saying that there's no doubt in her mind that her daughter has gotten her life together and was ready to be a mom, calling her a good and stable woman, ready to take care of her kids. So she thought. Now, the other side, the opposing side, Tanya's side, they argue that Kristie and Emma didn't have any bit of relationship. They wasn't bonded. Kristie would come to the city, not see Emma, not ask to speak to Emma or anything. Even when this case was going on, you would think, okay, I'm in the city for the case. I didn't see any ill will. It was some blocking on Facebook or whatnot, but you would still think that she would want to see her daughter that she's fighting for, right? They said no. She'll come to the city. She wouldn't even see Emma. She was pretty much a stranger to Emma. She said she only saw her within like 2 times within 2 years, but yet she filed in this petition to fight for her daughter. So that was really upsetting. When Tanya and her team argued that she was a stranger, she replied, I'm her mother who gave birth to her and carried her for 9 months. I do think she recognizes me, and she definitely recognizes the children anytime we come around. Thinking and knowing is two different things. You can think a lot, but what is it showing? Again, if you're interested, read the articles. I'll put them in the comments. I'll put them in the description of this video after it saves. They said the girl wasn't around. She was a stranger. So fast forward to after that hearing where both sides presented their evidence. Thank you, something foreign. I appreciate the love. Hey, Deborah, how you doing? Happy Tuesday, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate the love. So it was a year and a half approximately after the judge granted guardianship of Emma to Tanya on September 26th of 2017. The court agreed that Kristie should assume custody of her daughter, the stranger. And this was the statement that the judge read before he terminated Tanya's guardianship of Emma. It's difficult for the court to find that it's necessarily in the child's best interest, but I am doing so in the sense that it is always in the child's best interest to be in the care. At least the Indiana law presumes so. If the parent is able to fulfill their duties as a parent, and it is clear that Ms. Haas is able to fulfill those duties at this time. Really would like to know. So me, nosy Anna B, definitely dove into the Indiana court records. Some states, I like Florida. That's why y'all see a lot of Florida videos, a lot of Florida interrogations and things like that. Body cams. Florida just give it all out. Florida, that FOIA request for Florida, they gonna give it to you. But Indiana, their court record does not let you see any documents or anything. It just pretty much shows what was had, what day, who was there, what was present, and then they give a brief description. So I saw where guardianship was terminated in this sense.
Every day I think about it. I just don't know what to say. I don't even know where to start. What do you say? I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that you're in this situation. I don't even know how you live with yourself.
Emma's really docile and sweet and quiet. She's a baby. She liked Paw Patrol. She loved to eat.
Like Paw Patrol.
she's just real sweet, always wanted to hold your hand or sit by you. Or I think about Kristie every day. There's so much, I could say to my sister. I love her a lot, and I hate that she's where she deserves to be.
She hates she's where she deserves to be, as she definitely should be there. So these are some messages that I did retrieve offline. So this is Tanya. She didn't went by several different last names, so I'm just gonna call her as Tanya. Renee from the court documents, I know that's her middle name, but she obviously is replying back to somebody here, Christine Gray, and she says, "I live in Indiana. Kristie started ignoring us May of last year. Emma lived with me for the first 2 years of her life, and courts here gave her back to Kristie after seeing her 2 times in 2 years. I told y'all 2 times in 2 years. I begged them to let Emma stay with me. No, I'm not Kristie's mom. I'm Emma's aunt on her dad's side. But once Kristie got her back, she cut me off after a while of getting her back. I tried our GL. Not sure what GL represents, but I tried our GL here. Didn't even want to go back with Kristie. I tried our GL here. Didn't even want her to go back with Kristie at all. But the judge ordered for her to go back. The system is definitely screwed. Look at this baby. I know that might not be the best picture. You might have to go back a little bit to look, but this ain't how the picture taken. That is a bruise on that baby head right there. And these are pictures. Kristie said that she used to have, FaceTime contacts with baby Emma, but that all stopped. She screenshotted some images. So I wonder if this might be a screenshot. And I wonder if any of these pictures were presented to that judge. And by the way, the same judge that granted guardianship to Tanya is the same judge that terminated her guardianship. 11 weeks after Emma was brought from Indiana to Delaware, Kristie regained custody of her 3 other children. So Emma was placed back with Kristie first, and then the 3 older children were. And that was only because, again, y'all remember her mama's attorney. She's represented by her mama. Um, their dad had gotten some type of domestic dispute with somebody that was at the house, or his wife, I'm not sure, but as it read is that he got in a domestic dispute with somebody at the home that he shared with his wife. So it leads me to believe it wasn't with his wife, especially how they worded it with domestic dispute with someone else. But a domestic dispute occurred, and he called Kristie, and it was back and back forth going on. And then the wife called Kristie and said that the biological dad, their dad, the other 3 children's dads, was back on methamphetamines, and he was back out there. Kristie got in her car and went to Indiana and got her other 3 children. So that's how she gained. Now, when I was doing Guardian, Guardian ad item. Oh, you said equal ad item. Okay. Okay. Guardian. I didn't think of that. Okay. I was thinking that because she was like, she didn't want to go back to them. But thank you, boo. Something foreign. I appreciate you. That's why I love my people. Y'all always have my back. I know I'll be pronouncing things sometimes. I'm going to forever say that because y'all was eating me up in the comments, which is okay. I can take good constructive criticism and feedback. I love you too. This picture here, y'all, I was actually going to add this to the original, but you see this baby right here? This is Tanya, her husband, her biological children, and Emma. You see this baby face? You see his face? I didn't want to add that on there because I didn't know, like, they look like they crying, right? Which they are. This is a picture that was taken. Again, shout out the Herald Times, Isabel Hughs, all of this extra content, and most of the photos have come from that article, so I definitely appreciate that. Interim guardian. Yes, I got you back, girl. Okay, boo. Appreciate you. I wanted to add this picture on, but when I seen them kids, I was like, nah, I can't add it on there like that. They look like they crying, and I don't know why. Well, now I do. This was the very day that Mama Tanya, great Aunt Tanya, went to that courtroom in September of 2017 and lost guardianship of her baby. That same day, she had to go home to her children and her husband and tell them that Emma had to leave, had to pack up Emma's 2 years of life that she had with this family, who to her was her mom, dad, and brothers and sister. Had to pack this baby up, take her to some adoption office, have her peeled out her arms. Oh God, don't let me cry. Hold on, y'all. Because I told y'all some of these cases are really hard. And when you think about, oh God, sorry, I am so sorry. I didn't want this to happen, but excuse me, I'm so sorry. She had to go to a adoption office with that little girl. Wait, y'all, so sorry. But yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. She had to go to an adoption office, hand this baby over to somebody she didn't know, only for this person to give her to somebody she didn't know. Even though, yes, Kristie, right, you carried her for 9 months and you are her biological mom, but this was her family and those babies was crying. They crying too. All of them crying. I'm crying. And I don't even know Emma. I don't know none of them. But just imagine how they feel. Like that was their little sister. How imagine how Emma felt saying mommy, mommy, and she getting handed over to go to people that she did not know. All because, in my opinion, I think the judge was just following by these freaking laws that are set forth when everything is case by case scenario, I think. And I'm not no judge. I don't know how it goes or how you weigh the odds, but if you take a look at it, freaking she wasn't responsible. She didn't even return. Let me show you if I got this still up. Hold on. See if y'all can see this. This is the case that this is what you see from the case. Let me make me a little smaller and see if y'all can see that. Okay, so this is the guardianship of Emma Grace Cole. Guardianship. It was started July, it was filed July 2016, decided September 26, 2017. So this started all the way from when she petitioned for guardianship all the way up until her guardianship was terminated. So that makes me believe that this wasn't even full in effect. I don't know how guardianship works, but consent filed. But I just want to show y'all something. Where is it? Okay, here we go. This is the first one. Did I pass any? Okay, the best interest. I would think, I've never been in a custody battle, so these are only my opinions and my thoughts. But I would think when one is deciding the care of a child, especially a small child of this sort, you would look into the mama. You would look into what they've been doing. They did submit evidence. Now, some of the evidence that was submitted on Kristie's part was questionable for Tanya and her lawyer. Some of the grammar, the pronunciation, the spelling in some of these letters that so-called came from therapists was just all the way off, where a professional shouldn't be sending it into a court like that. Her name was on one paper and another woman's name was on the same paper. So it was a lot of shit that I feel like this judge did not take a look at. And one thing that just honestly stuck out for me is that there was so many times that this happened. Can y'all see this? that this happened. Let me see if I can make this bigger. How's that? Oops. Okay. Administrative event. Notice of Kristie. So they don't even got no address for her. Return to sender. No such number. Unable to forward, right? And this is not the first one. This is a hearing journal. It tells you what happened. Hearing held, witnesses sworn, and evidence heard. Exhibit admitted. This is when the dad, Joshua, was trying to get Emma, but the court issues order appointing guardian of minor child and denying father's petition to modify custody. Court appoints Tanya Renee Stroud as guardian over Emma Cole. The filing of a bond or inventory is not necessary at this time. Instructions to guardian executed and filed in open court. Court directs the guardian to file, I can't pronounce that word, a report with the court every 2 years, with the first report due September 29, 2018. Anyhow, the only thing that was kind of sticking out to me another time is that she shouldn't have any contact with Dorothy Axum. We'll get back to that. I'm going to copy that. So we'll get back to that. But that's not the first time. Look, this is another one. Kristie Cole, return to sender, no address. And a lot of these where she didn't even show up. So how in the world? Like, there was more. There was another one. I thought I saw another one. Automatic paper notice issued to parties. Well, there was others. Like, this ain't the only one. This is hers. Kristie Cole. I don't know who Lisa Cole is, but Dorothy apartment. She probably got kicked out. But this is the guardianship for Emma Cole. Look how many more guardians said. The matter of paternity. This is the paternity of Emma Cole when found out who her dad was. And the matter, she had to go back to court. She had to go again for her other 3 kids. In the matter of paternity with her other 3 children. And then paternity other 3 children, they did it separate. They consolidated it, so it's gonna go over again. It's just like when you look at this stuff, you just be like, what the hell? I just feel like that judge probably just gave her over to Kristie because of the law's writing, how the law is written. That just really breaks my heart for Emma because she was around people that loved her so much, that really loved her. And just in case you want to be nosy, I'll go back. If you want to be nosy like me, hold on. I'll go back and I didn't save it, but so who's Dorothy? I don't understand either, Dabs. I don't understand. So who's Dorothy? And this is what the court said. Not trying to be messy, but it's public record. Sorry. Who's Dorothy? Axum. Dorothy is Emma's grandmother. This is her. Can y'all see this? This is her. That's her. She pleads guilty in daughter's starvation. She's spent, I forgot how many years. I think it was like 2.5 years. This is the grandma of Emma on her daddy's side. She was convicted of starving her 23 or 25-year-old adult disabled daughter. Thought I had a picture of the daughter. I can't remember what I did with it. Hold on, let me see if I can find y'all a picture. She pled guilty. Ooh, Jesus. Where is the daughter's name? Oh, here she go. I wasn't sure if I was going to add this in, so this is why y'all really like literally seeing it in real time, or else I would have put this into the little presentation that I had. But I mean, why not? This is the baby that died, Casey Axum. Mom starved her adult disabled daughter who depended on her. This is not Kristie's family again. This is on Emma's dad's side, biological dad's side. So this is not at all got anything to do with Kristie. What I shared this for is because I honestly think, in my opinion, looking at everything and the fact that that was put into the hearing summary and was a part of the order when Tanya got guardianship is that everything didn't come out. The fact that Kristie was able to present herself as this woman who then went and got clean. She was clean for 9 months. This is the second time going to rehab. She been battling drugs since she was a teenager. She 25 at this around this time, 24, 25 around this time. I think she should have had a little bit more time to get herself together. And that's where Granddaddy James was coming from. Because he didn't shy away from speaking his thoughts of disapproval of Brandon and Kristie's relationship. He honestly thought that it was a premature move to go to Delaware with a man who was still new into his recovery as well. And he thought she should live in some like sober living situation or environment. So he didn't approve. But to go back to what I was saying, I think that the judge seeing all of this, the fact that he put in that order to keep Emma away from Dorothy, mean he did his research on Tanya. On Tanya and them, to me, again, this is just my opinion, y'all. He did his research on her. He seen this. Don't know what else been going on with him or who else be around him, and made his decision off of those things. The fact that Kristie had this lawyer mama, she was well represented, and that she was somewhat present herself as trying. I'm not trying to knock her of trying to regain her kids, but the fact that you did that 17, 18, 19, 2 years later, that just proves, baby, you wasn't ready. You wasn't ready. And it wasn't like Tanya was keeping your daughter away from you. She blocked your ass when you text her. She blocked her ass when she texted her and said after she didn't married Brandon and moved to Delaware, she texts Tanya and say, I want Emma back. Tanya blocked her. Sure did. Tanya blocked her. I don't know if I would have blocked her. I probably would have started. You know, my mom always tell me, never let a person see how you coming. Never let them know where you coming, how you coming. So I probably would have been getting my ducks in a row right there to get my lawyer. Oh, her mama a lawyer. She already lawyered up. She good in that aspect. I would have been getting my shit together so that I could really fight for this baby. And I did make an error in my video. I said that Emma was loved. Emma had family. Emma had siblings, Tanya and them that loved her. And when her daddy found out who she was, he stepped up. I'm going to retract that because in this article, Tanya also expressed frustration with Joshua. After that first time in 2016 when they petitioned to try to get custody of Emma, Joshua did, but Tanya was given guardianship, he was around. But when Kristie came and tried to terminate that in 2017, he wasn't around. She was trying to tell him to come around because you the biological dad. Just come to the court with me. Help me. It'll look better if her dad is there. Because then, now that the judge made this statement about, Indiana law, what if daddy was in attendance? What if daddy is standing beside his aunt? Like, yeah, look, we got this together. We a family. Who knows? Who knows? This case really just pissed me off. Pissed me off because I see cases where, and I stroll through TikTok or even online, and I'm looking at these body cam videos where these CPS people be knocking on people's door that's really probably maybe whooped the kid, got in trouble, or whatever the case may be, that really these kids be straight, right? But then these kids that really need help, y'all just give them back to the people. Y'all don't care nothing about them. Don't investigate them. That's why I be so in the middle with this. Like, yeah, a kid should be with their biological parents in a perfect world, but is the biological parent good for the kid? And I'll share something with y'all. Anna B has made mistakes. And I pray to God and thank God every day that I was given my first son and not something else, like something I couldn't get rid of, because I have been in a situation where you're reproducing with somebody you don't even fucking know, about to bring in a whole new baby. And oh my God, that was the lowest point of my life. Like, really? I'm about to have a whole human with somebody I really don't even know. And that shit scared me. Oh my God. And I probably didn't do things right, but I had my son best interest at heart all the time. And it ain't nothing in this world, ain't no decision, no choice, whether even if it's my homegirl calling me, say, let's go out this weekend, let's go to the bar, anything. Ain't no decision I make that I don't think about my babies. And I really wish I could ask Kristie, I want to know why you didn't think about your babies. Why you didn't think about Emma? Why you didn't think about the fact that you just pulled this girl from this family that loved her, and obviously you wasn't prepared, you wasn't ready, you mistreating her, abusing her. It's crazy. It's Emma's aunt Kelsey at her gravesite. And look at it. You could tell when a person loved. Look at all the ornaments. They even got the little Christmas tree, the little penguin. What's that? A little penguin snowman and all the stones up there. You could tell when somebody's loved. Well, y'all, I wanted to give y'all that background. I didn't. See, y'all, I need a shot. I need a shot. I need a shot. I need a shot. This be getting my blood boiling. Well, I wanted to give some background information on that because I did find this very, very informative, very detailed article, three-part article, again, written by Isabel Hughs in the Herald Times. And I just felt like, based off of the feedback that I was getting on live, it would definitely serve some justice and break the ice once again to a live. Let's call this. I was asking my baby. I said, what should I call alive? Is it gonna be the same thing? He said, about first 48, they have after the first 48. Well, just consider it like after the episode. I'll say so. This is our first episode, planned episode of Behind the Walls after episode. How's that? And I hope I didn't blabber or talk too fast or annoy you all. And I look forward to doing this more. Anybody got anything in the comments y'all want to drop at me? Any questions for me before I go? What time is it? It's 9:17. That big win of mine. He know when mama get behind this computer screen, he think he can get up on that phone. But I was trying to teach him. I used to just take it and put it in my room on a charger, but I'm like, well, let me teach him. He's 10 now. He just turned 10 in March. Let me teach him some type of responsibility. They say you start with all the trust in the world, but it's not until you do something to break that trust that you have to regain it. So let me give my baby some trust. And I'm saying he gonna try me. He might try me, but I haven't caught him yet. But I would like to. This is, what is it? This is week 2. Yeah, week 2, day 2 of this. You charge your own phones. You keep your own electronics in there. I don't want to hear nothing extra after this time. The lights out, electricity out in that room. So yeah, it's about time for me to go check on these boys of mine. I'm surprised that nobody knocked on the door, but those are my little fans. They're like, "Mommy, you live?" When I'm editing, and my little one is here. His name's Denim, my baby, my pandemic baby. His birthday is the 22nd of this month. He hears me editing, and he hears the little background music. He's like, "Uh-oh, there go Anna B. There go Anna B." PA part 2. I'll definitely I'll definitely work on PA part 2. There's 2 part 2s that I've been sleeping on. Missouri and PA part 2. I've been seeing that. Let me put that on my little notepad right there. So can I ask if anybody saw, just some quick feedback, if y'all don't have no questions for me? Did anybody see my Dejanay Ferguson where I, for the first time, came on instead of doing the voiceover? Any feedback, opinions, suggestions on that? If not, go ahead and check that out. It's another case. I know some of my friends, y'all will tell me. That's why I love y'all. Y'all will tell me like, Anna, this got something to do with kids, baby. I can't stick around, honey. I love you. I was here, but I'm out. Respect. So PA part 2, I'll get that coming. I actually have the next video I'm dropping, I'm working on is, should I tell you or should I make you wait? I should tell you, huh? Since I said it. Okay, so the next one, definitely Missouri. Got you, Dabs. Got you, boo boo. The next one I'm working on currently is convicted after 50. Why? Is because I seen this lady. She's 70 years old. And I've had an older lady on there. What state was she in? I think she was in Virginia. The lady that killed the guy with the sword. I think that was Virginia. Don't quote me on that. But she was old lady. I'm talking about old. Well, excuse me. I don't want to be disrespectful because you only old as you feel. She was older in age, I'll say. And she's around that age where, in my opinion, you get that age, you're supposed to be living your best life. You can be able to move how you want to move, go when you want to go, cuss out who you want to cuss out. Y'all know old people, they cuss out everybody. They think they just got it right away. And what you do, sit back and get cussed out. I know I do. But yeah, that's the next one I'm working on. Going to shoot for tomorrow, but I am trying to do a little bit of learning of balancing of time. My little one is going to pre-K, so I'm trying to spend more time throughout the day to get him ready and prepared for school. He's doing good. He's doing good, but it's just like memory with the ABCs. You know, did y'all kids do that? They be like A through G. It's like boom, boom, boom. You got it. But then when those letters HIJ, he kind of starts repeating. He'll start over like, that's G. No, baby, you just said G. So trying to work on that with him. And that'll be the next one. We got PA on the request. Definitely got to do in Missouri. And I got some more states coming for y'all that I'm working on. So that is going to be a wrap for this live, y'all. I definitely appreciate y'all. I definitely love the love. Thank you, y'all, for riding it out with me. I see Dabs, you still here. Brittany, everybody that tuned in, I appreciate y'all. And if you're catching this not on the live, I did post. I did post it in the community. So don't be coming talking about Anna B. You didn't tell me. I told y'all. But anyhow, oh, who's that? Ryan Brown. Hey, Ryan, how are you? You're from Massachusetts. So good to hear people's stories from my state. Keep up the great content. Respect. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. I know that's one of the things that I've always heard, like, wow, I haven't heard of this. And one of our friends put in a comment on the last video to do, what's her name? Lori Vadel. I'm a show some love to a fellow YouTuber, Tanika 2 Cents. She does like the current events. My thing is I like to dive in and get some cases that you might not see. So that's why you don't see me doing the big uh-oh. Sorry, y'all. Thought I silenced it. But that's why you don't see me doing those big cases. There's so many that people that do the current events. I like to dive in and give y'all some flavor that you might not know, or you might know, like our friend Jessica, she be knowing all of them. But anyhow, y'all, next live, I'm going to have a phone line where if y'all want, y'all can call in and y'all can get on here with me. But it's been fun, my friends. It's been very, very fun. Y'all have a blessed night. Thank you for joining me. And if you have not already, make sure you subscribe. Good night, beautiful people. Until next time. Peace.